afternoon. You're listening to the Inspirational Parent right here on your hometown station, KHTS. I'm your host, Jasmine Urbina, here in the studio today with my dad and co-host, Alex Urbina. Hi, Dad.
How are you?
Good. Today we have a very special guest, Matt Hort, from the city of Santa Clarita. He is the city librarian. I'm going to let you go ahead and do a little introduction on his background.
Well, I don't actually know his background. I'd rather have him tell us more about his background and how he became part of the city and the library. But I invited him on the show because I went through a pretty amazing learning experience writing the book, The Inspirational Parent. I had to get what's called a Library Congress number to be able to have my books presented in the library. And so I just thought it was a fascinating experience, and I wanted to invite you to come on the show to talk a little bit about that, but also the possibility that the library could be a dying legacy, that we got to figure out how to ignite that flame to remind people how amazing it is. Because from what I'm finding out is you guys are reinventing yourselves such that you're able to compete with all the other entities out there that are giving content away and sharing and contributing. So tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about the library.
Sure. So a little bit about myself was kind of funny when I ran into Alex this afternoon in the hallway. He's like, "You look like a cop." And at one time I was out and I grew up in the Las Vegas area, so I used to be a cop in North Las Vegas. Then I met my wife, and she was not a huge fan of that work-life balance. But previous to that, when I was going in high school and also going through my undergrad, I actually worked in a library. So when I looked at going back and figuring out, well, what am I going to do with my life, I happened to stumble into the library in Henderson, and they said, well, why don't you come on back and we'll send you to get a master's in library science. And I said, you actually have to get a master's in that? Really?
Right, yeah.
But so I said, sure, that was a great thing. And I worked there for quite a long time. Due to the background, I was a safety officer there. I worked in management as well, and just got exposed to a lot of different things, including a lot of fundraising, a lot of different aspects of strategic planning and things like that. And then I foolishly got convinced to apply for a doctorate in public affairs. And as I was wrapping that up, I actually heard about an opportunity out in California. So I applied for a position in Simi Valley, and I became the director of the library out there. And then about 6 months ago, I was fortunate enough to become the city librarian out here, and I've loved every minute of it since.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I was thinking to myself, a title of your book, if and when you ever decide to write one, if you do, would be police officer to librarian. I mean, what a cool little twist there, right? To visualize you handcuffing people and chasing them down, and then now you're the librarian.
Well, I did dress up as the library police for 1 year for Halloween. And it's kind of funny. It doesn't happen as much out here, but I've heard of stories in the South where they actually send librarians out to collect fines. And there's stories of people getting chased by dogs.
No.
The homeowners are like, I'm not paying that fine. Here's my Doberman.
That's funny.
So you just recently moved to Santa Clarita.
I'm in the process of. I'm living in Camarillo currently. However, my lease is up November 1st, and I cannot wait to make that move. I'll tell you the truth.
Which is funny because you were talking about the Valencia library, and me and my dad are looking at each other like, there's a library in Valencia, and you haven't even lived here, and we've been here for years. And so that's really interesting to see, just how much we don't even utilize our library. I remember when I was younger, I grew up in the Joanne Darcy Library in the summers because of the air conditioning. We'd hang out there, and me and my cousins, my sister, would go on the computer, we'd find some books, and we probably racked up some fees there too. But as I grew up, the Starbucks started to take over, and the coffee beans, and the little lounge environment changed. I thought maybe it was just part of me growing up, but really it was these businesses came in and started with all of their new technologies and their new what's that word when the environment is you know what I'm talking about.
The synergy?
It's kind of, but it's more like of, they do the dim lights and they play the light music.
Ambiance.
Yeah, the ambiance. There it is. So is that something that you guys are looking to in your new construction of the library?
Well, I think that's always something on the forefront. I've seen varying models of libraries actually really try to use the coffee shop model. One of the biggest parts of that is finding a partner, because Truthfully, librarians aren't baristas. You probably would not like the coffee that comes out of our break rooms. But I think just that ambiance and a place to be. Libraries have really changed. Last year, kind of the focus of the American Library Association was library transformation. And that's what we need to do. It's kind of funny, when I was in Simi Valley, we went through a strategic planning process. And almost every time I went out, it was, well, libraries are dying. No one uses the library anymore. But there's been a lot of research lately that shows that actually millennials are going back to use the library. And one of the biggest things we need to do is just meet the needs of the community. One of the things we kind of had talked about a little bit earlier is really we have embraced the digital world. There's a lot of ebooks and everything for free at the library. So when you look at sticker price, sticker shock of what a hardback book costs these days, it's up towards about $30. Maybe in the 20s if you're buying it on an ebook. You can get it for free from the library through an app. As long as you have a library card, you can just download it right onto your
So
smartphone or device.
that's part of the show, which was I wanted to label it, the hidden gems of the library, because there can be some powerful goodies that you can get from the library, but if you don't know that they're there and it's not worldwide known yet, then you're missing out on a huge opportunity that you could be gaining from having that insight. So you guys do have ebooks now. Are the ebooks, is that and I kind of asked this earlier, so I kind of cheated here, but there's not like a special place in the library. I actually don't have to go into the library and check out an ebook. I can go online is it on your website?
Yeah, it's on our website. The app that we have is called Overdrive. So if you go to our website and go to e-resources, it's a drop down and it'll take you right in there. Or if you go to, depends on what device you have, if you go to Google Play, the App Store, whatever device you're using, you can actually just search for Overdrive for libraries and then put in your library that you use and put in your library card, and you're good to go.
So the keyword is overdrive to be able to get you through that path into the library. And then you could utilize your library card or your membership. So talk to me about the membership or the library card process again, because I think that's been 30 years.
Are those still free?
They are still free. The good thing, too, is if you haven't used your card for a while and you had fines, they're probably gone by now. We do purge those periodically. But it's completely free. All you have to do is actually be a California resident. So come in with an ID. If you don't have a current address on your ID, bring a piece of mail, and we'll get you all set up.
So I've been worried for all these years for nothing about a fine that I had in the 5th grade at the bookmobile. The bookmobile used to come into our elementary school, and I remember getting a book. It was about motorcycle or motocross, and I actually found the book. I don't know if I carried it from house to house, but I found the book maybe 10 years ago, and I was like, oh, my God, this is from the bookmobile. I must have like a $10,000 fine or something like that. But that now I can go get myself a library card. Will you go with me?
We should go after, because we are lucky enough to be right across from the New Hall Library, which honestly I haven't been there since the day it opened. So I'm gonna go. I gotta go visit. But I have actually a really funny story about a parenting lesson from my dad that has to do with the library. And I remember I had an overdue library book, and my dad I kept saying, Dad, can you take me to return it? And every time we'd be out and about, he'd be like, oh, here's the library, let's drop your book off. I'd be like, I don't have it. And so finally he goes and takes it for me, and he comes back and he goes, you're going to pay the fee because you need to be responsible now. And I'm maybe 11 years old. And I go, okay, how much is the fee? He goes, it's $200. And I was like, what? I was so scared. And he let me sleep on that and sit on that. And the next morning I'm like, Dad, okay, I came up with a plan. And he starts laughing and he goes, it was $1.40. And I always remember that stupid $1.40, because I went through so much like
Anguish.
emotional anxiety that whole night, because I was like, how am I going to come up with $200?
Did you learn something though from that?
I did. And it kind of scared me a little bit, but it kind of made me realize that all of the stuff that I had been procrastinating on, and even now I'm still guilty of procrastinating. I kind of can remember like that anxiety. It's almost like when you wait the last minute to write an essay and you're like, oh, I'm never going to do that again. So every time I kind of go through that little phase of anxiety, I think of that little lesson.
But those Redbox DVDs, they also charge you a fine too if you take a DVD 5 days later. It's like $1 every day or something like that.
Well, that's a good thing about the ebooks though. They automatically expire. so you don't have to worry about
I
returning
love
it.
that. Yeah,
So
they
you
just
don't.
either there's no link to it no more, or it just kind of
Yeah,
you
it'll
can't
just
access
it'll
it.
just
Yeah.
say expired.
Yeah.
So then it's available. You can click renew, and it'll bring it back up.
Nice. That's
But yeah,
cool.
so this will get you completely out of that. We're having to worry about fines. And one of the things we're doing actually right now is, it was for the month of September. We're going to extend it another week into October. Is food for fines. So if you do have food or do have fines on your card, bring in some non-perishable food, and we'll actually waive the fines.
What?
Something.
Wow, that's amazing.
Wow, that's kind of inspiring because it's like, all right, I get to own up to my commitments and be responsible. But as long as I'm getting fined or to pay that price, I get to also contribute or make a difference with it too.
Exactly.
So
Help
that's
out
pretty
the
awesome.
community.
I like that.
What about movies? Do you guys still have movies there?
We still do have DVDs. We've gotten rid of all the VHS, unfortunately, which is interesting because we still actually get a lot of donations of VHS. So those go to our friends at the library for sale in their bookstore. But we do have DVDs available. We do have some streaming content as well. That's what a lot of libraries are looking towards, is that Netflix model. There are a lot of services out there, too, that have the app-driven streaming videos also.
One of the things I learned in the process of writing the book is you're not going to be a millionaire making books. But what you want to do is you want to get your content out to as many people as you can, to be able to, one, continue to make the difference or a bigger difference with your words and your insight or your wisdom or whatever it is that you're talking about. But the cool thing about the library is that they're it's kind of like they're paying a fee to be able to use your content to get it out to as many people as you can. So it's cool on the side of the consumer that you can go in there and check out one of my books or any author that you really like or love or follow. If they have registered with the Library of Congress and got their number, they're in the libraries, and you can get those top-notch books. I mean, you can get some books that you really enjoy, and you'll be surprised if you actually just do the research. I'm sure you have probably 80 to 90% of the books that people are looking for.
Well, and that's one of the big things, and I think this is probably one of the hidden gems that I don't think people necessarily know about, but we do take requests as well. So if we don't have it in the system, we will try to track it down and add it to the
And what do you do? Do you go after the author and say, hey, you have a high volume of requests? Are you?
It depends. I mean, if it's an author that we can get in touch with, they'd be up for donating to us. If not, we'll go and purchase it and add it to the collection.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
And we also have a consortium, which is a group of other libraries in the area. And actually, we just added Palmdale to that list today. It was official. But so if they have it in one of the partnering libraries, we have a courier that goes between us, and they'll ship it to us, and you can still check it out. But we will try everything we can to get you the information. That's really, we're here to provide information, just like you said, and make that available. So whatever we can do to get that to you, we will definitely try our best.
Are there still in the libraries? Are you still being shushed? Is it really as quiet as it was back in the day where it was like God forbid you use your outside voice inside the library, you're like shh, and you got the old ladies looking at you pointing the finger at you, and you felt shameful because you spoke a little too loud.
It's changed a lot, and that's, I think, one of the big things that has changed about libraries is, before I remember those two, I was always afraid that I was going to get whacked with a ruler if I was talking or running around in the library.
Yeah.
Now, granted, we don't condone running around in the library. We do want it to be a peaceful place because people do want to
focus,
read.
right?
Yeah, they want to focus.
Because the old timers like me, we've trained ourselves to focus in silence. Where the youngsters, they focus in noisy environments. They've trained themselves to be laser focused with a lot of noise, or even with their iPods in their ear. That for some reason that kind of helps them dial in and get focused in on information. So
yeah, well, and we really don't go around shushing people anymore. It's mostly if it's someone's talking really loud, they're on their cell phone, they have it on speaker, then we'll go and say, hey, we do have a code of conduct we abide by, but it's not that old fashioned. You have to watch everything you do. If your kids are there asking you questions, great. As long as they're not yelling and screaming and throwing books, then we might have to come talk to you.
If you think about it, if you notice most of the coffee shops, or let's take a Starbucks, for example, I think for most part, people are courteous. They're courteous, right? They respect each other's space, and it's more of a universal rule when you walk into a place like that to just be respectful. And you can still speak out loud or laugh or giggle, but you're aware that people are still focusing on something that might be important to them, whether it's schoolwork or business. So is it like that environment? Is it kind of like a Starbucks or a coffee environment where people are gathering and you'll hear a couple of chuckles here and there, but for the most part it's respectful?
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely is. One of the big things is people do come to use it to study, especially here at Newhall, and actually all three of the branches. We can't have enough study rooms. People are there to study. They're usually enclosed, so they are a little bit more not protected, but contained in that area. But there are still small groups that get together and talk, and there's people on the computer. I think one of the interesting things is sometimes people will have their headphones on the computer and be watching videos and really start laughing really loud.
Oh, right.
Which is kind of funny
Right.
because for the most part it's usually pretty quiet, and then you just have a really loud chuckle.
Right.
But yeah, it's a calmer environment, but it's really, I think, where I'd like to see libraries going, where they are going, is to become a space where it is joint use, where it is a place you can come together and talk and collaborate. And really, historically, that's what libraries were designed for.
Right.
They're supposed to be a place where you come talk and share information.
So there's actual study rooms. Like, do you need to reserve them, or is it first come, first serve? How does that work?
You can reserve them the day of, in person, and they go pretty quick. There are people there right at opening that are trying to get in there.
Wow, that's
Is it like to
awesome.
lock it down for the day or just for what?
You can you have it for 90 minutes at a time.
Okay.
And they are designed as group study rooms to kind of facilitate that group mentality. So it's really set aside for groups of 2 or more. However, if they're not in use and one person is around, they can go in there. But then if a group comes, we do actually defer to the group.
Yeah, I've actually done a workshop for the city. The city hired me to do some workshop with some teens at the local library here in Newhall. So I was able to get into one of those glass, rooms and do a little bit of training and some interactive and sharing and that kind of stuff. So I got to spend a couple hours that they booked there. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought those rooms for like VIPs, and any normal Joe can walk in and get one. I'm so excited.
Anyone can. I mean,
Well, if you're not a VIP, then the VIPs will just step up
Yeah,
and self-declare
apparently.
themselves.
That's right.
You are a VIP.
everyone's a VIP.
And yeah, that's what I'm trying to say is that it's, the libraries are owned by us, right? It's, we work really hard to pay our taxes, to have, the libraries for our kids and for our community. So it's, and I'm pretty sure you look at the model of you being there in service, so you're there to serve us. And so the library's there with the model of we're here to serve and give you what you need and what you want, and create a safe environment where you guys can come in and learn and connect with each other. So I like that you guys are embracing that model and you're rolling with the times, and that you're recognizing that it's a place where we can all gather, and especially if our coffee shops now are so packed. Like, I have to literally go around in circles to try to find a parking spot, and to know that now I can say, hey, let's go meet at the library and do some work.
And we do have free Wi-Fi throughout all the buildings too, which
How
goes through.
how strong is it? Is it because I hear people, even restaurants, tantalizing you. We got free Wi-Fi, and you go and you can't even.
I've never had all my phones automatically connect to it when I go in.
Okay.
And I've never had any issues. And we're actually working on a program with the cities working with us on it to bring in 1 gig of internet connectivity to all the libraries.
Nice.
So I'm still in shock about those study rooms because now I'm thinking of all the times I've been like at Starbucks waiting in line.
Do you know how much they charge?
Around.
Do you know how much they charge for the Starbucks? The new Starbucks, they have that.
Is it like $100 an hour?
No,
Is
it's
it
more than that. Yeah.
I didn't even know they were
Yikes.
charging.
Go in there, the new one.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to put it on blast, but there's a new one in town. Go in there and ask them how much they charge for that room. I want to say it's a couple $100 an hour. And
I think you have to book a minimum of 2
well,
hours
yeah,
or something.
yeah. And when you see people in there, they're usually business people that it's probably going to waver on a deal that they're going to make a couple $1,000s. They're not going to just go in there and rent it just to get quiet space. But
Wow.
and to know that you guys got them there, and it's first come first serve, and it's 90-minute increments, and if you put a little effort into it, you could lock a little spot there to do some work privately with someone.
Yeah.
I'm still in shock. I'm going to be in shock until the end of the show. But
what
it
else
also
can I blow your mind with?
I know, right?
What else do you
Keep
guys
them coming.
have?
Keep them coming.
No, but I mean, it's really it's opening my mind. And like you were saying, Dad, a little bit earlier about that you guys are really keeping up with the times. I did not expect, libraries to be like that. Even when this new one opened, which was the last time I've been to a library, I was shocked about, how nice it was. And then I even thought, man, what a shame nobody's going to come here. But there's always events going on there, like, almost every week that really draws people in. So it's kind of, it's
What do
kind
you
of
mean
like
there's
just
all kinds of events going on there?
the other day I saw
well.
Sammy Clarita over there and,
Yeah.
and everybody was over there.
Sammy Clarita?
Sammy
Sammy
Clarita.
Clarita. You know who he is?
No.
Oh,
my
you'll have to look on
gosh.
social media.
Yeah, we're not even going to tell you.
Is that a millennial thing or?
No,
No,
it's
it's
a
a city
Santa
thing.
Clarita thing.
Okay. So how do we promote more of the events that you have there so more people know? Are you guys connected to KHTS and the Signal and all the other? We got to get
Gotta get it out.
We got to create a bigger pedestal to get on there and say, hey, we have these things here in our.
Do you have a
community.
library Instagram?
Yeah, let me check. Yes, we do have an Instagram. We got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. We also have our website at santaclaritalibrary.com. In addition to that, we've worked really close with City Communications, so they put a lot of marketing out for us also. So one of the biggest ways to really connect with us is social media. Just search Santa Clarita Libraries. We'll be there. We're always putting fun things out there. And it's not just, hey, come to our programs. We also put things out. It's more interactive, this date in history, and a lot of different things that you would really help to give you more information and knowledge.
Now, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Do you guys do book signings? Like if I wanted to do a book signing there, is that a possibility or?
Yeah, I think we could work something like that.
Okay, but do you normally do those?
There's all kinds of different programs.
Okay.
So yeah, we do book signings. Of course, we got a lot of programming for the kids. We also do have 3D printers. If you haven't played around with one of those, we have some over in New Hall. And
I'm
you can
shocked
actually
again, by the way.
Well, the fun thing is we're going to be rolling it out where you can actually submit designs and we'll print them up for you too.
As long as it's not a firearm, because I've
Yeah,
heard that people. Yeah, there's got to be a rule.
Yeah,
right?
there are restrictions. We do thoroughly vet the designs.
That's right.
before we
There you
actually
go.
make 'em.
Yeah.
But we really want to expand that. We've been working with College of the Canyons too to see what else other things we can bring in. One of the things I would love to bring is virtual reality. They've got it at some of the other libraries.
Oh,
and
the glasses.
Yep, the glasses, a whole just a whole interface too. But it was kind of interesting because I got to test it out last week, and it was kind of funny. We were in a museum, and a big T-Rex walks around the corner, and the whole time as you're going in there, like, whatever you do, don't run. And I'm sitting there going, I know this is fake, but it felt so immersive.
Did you feel like running?
Because it starts roaring at you, like right in your face.
Yeah.
You can actually like see the spittle particles
Right,
coming out.
right.
And then it gets and starts looking at you with one eye. And it's right in your face. And I'm like, I know I shouldn't be running, but I really, deep down, I feel like I want to. But I would love to bring that to the community and just
That's
expose
awesome.
people to that.
I love that.
We have to take a quick break,
Okay.
but sorry, guys. Stay tuned for more of The Inspirational Parent right here on your hometown station, KHTS.
Santa Clarita, bedbugs are taking over our city. They've invaded our homes, our businesses, and most importantly, our sleep. If you have suspicious bites that appear nightly, or have a bug that you need ID'd, your best option is to make one call to All Pro. We offer a 100% guarantee that your bedbug issues will be solved with heat in one treatment. No need to tent or spray your house with chemicals. Heat is all you need. Call 661-298-2200 or text me a bug picture to 661-645-0540. It's time to sleep tight again, STV.
Don and Gino here. So we know you want to have fun learning about real estate and finance. You're going to want to tune in this Saturday, 9 a.m. to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show right here on your hometown station, AM 1220. We have some hot topics, as always, guiding you to personal financial wellness. And that's right, you don't want to miss it. So again, this Saturday, 9 a.m., and then we replay it online Sunday, 9 a.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. right here on the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show. Join us.
When you want to pair the finest local craft and premium beers with a house special char-grilled tri-tip, MJ's Tap House Grill is just the place. Nowhere else will you find an upscale modern rustic barbecue with the latest in craft beers other than at MJ's Tap House Grill. Catch a game on one of the 9 screens and enjoy a cold one with friends. MJ's Tap House Grill in the Soledad Plaza. Delicious modern barbecue featuring local craft and premium beers. Hometown.
traffic report, simple news, weather, and lots of music. They pretty much play everything.
Your hometown station.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Inspirational Parent right here on your hometown station, KHTS. Today we're talking about the hidden gems of the library with our city librarian, Matt Hort.
Yeah, we're just, we went from being excited, because you're dropping some bombs. So I talked about having some gems, but you're dropping some bombs. And one of the bombs is especially the virtual reality experience. Do you have that currently? And
we don't have it currently.
So it's on its way. Then
I am trying to get it down.
Well, I will be right behind you. Tell me what you need. If I gotta, call the congressman or something. Well, let's get that. Let's get that going.
We'll get it.
Yeah.
And I think what we got to do is when we get it, I'll bring it in. And then you can test it here online.
All right, sounds
should
good.
do a
Yeah,
video.
for sure. No, that for sure. We'll get the news team out there.
Yeah.
We'll video it, and we'll put Jerry Cerati Goldman standing in front of T-Rex.
There you go.
Yeah, and to see how she handles, having T-Rex in her face.
I think the T-Rex would want to run.
Yeah, that's right. So that's cool stuff. Having the library reinvent themselves to be able to meet the demands of people, especially in today's world where not only the millennials but even their parents now are starting to want things right now. We live in this fast-paced world of needing instant gratification, especially being stimulated on Facebook and Twitter and all these apps where we're just literally we're going through with our finger and our fingers just sliding through so many images. We're trying to be stimulated and to know that you guys are figuring out how to meet that demand and kind of give us what we're getting used to now is pretty cool.
Well, and I think one of the big things that we can really do to help the community as a whole is there's been so much talk lately about fake news. Because people read things online and, it's online, must be true. But really providing the right research and the right resources to make people have an informed opinion. We're not in the business of telling you what the reality is, but here's the resources and information. We want to make sure everyone has the information to make the best decision that they can.
Now, how do you decipher what's fake and what's not? Do you just do you do the homework and find credible sources, or
that's a big part of actually what library school is about, is determining what's a credible source.
Really?
I mean, it goes back to that whole, do I have a reference page and are these real sources, or is this just some random guy that said, yeah, no, this is reality. I know.
they're just making stuff up and spinning? Yeah, I with politics, I'm getting a whole new idea of what spin means. Before, when you heard that politicians would spin, it was spin with respect. Now it seems like everything's spun and you got like 50 plates spinning. You don't know which way to look and which one to focus on. Everything just now becomes one big spin for me.
Exactly.
It's kind of got to a whole nother level.
So do you guys have a library database with like credible resources, kind of like how I know like my college has that, but that comes with the membership?
That does as well. That's also in that same, if you go to our website and go to the e-resources page, we have not just one database, we have, I don't know if a plethora is the right way to describe it, but a ton of different. I mean, they're specific to age groups as far as, elementary school, even prior to that, we're working on having access to ABC Mouse. We have it already in the library, but actually making that available online as well. And then all the way up through college papers, all the stuff you would need. Now, granted, we don't have LexisNexis. I wish we did. But you still can have resources you could cite and actually write a paper on. We also have car manual, so like Chilton's, to actually help you fix your car, so you don't have to go buy the one book that you use once and never put back.
Wow, that would have came in handy when I bought my used car that didn't come with the manual, and I was like listening to YouTube, these crazy guys telling me how to do stuff. That's so interesting.
Well, and we do have language resources as well. We have Pronunciator, so if you want to learn language, you can use that also.
I've been meaning to learn Spanish.
I've been struggling with that for years myself.
Me too. So, for me, I especially if you're listening and you're in college or you're going through that paper time, especially when finals come around, I have a hard time using the school's database because I would say it's pretty limited. And finding articles online is, again, deciphering fake news and real news. So that's a huge, for me, that's a big plus, enough to make me run out there and go get a card and actually use those databases, especially since you're telling me that there's more than one.
Yes, there are definitely more than one. And one of the nice things too is I would look at the library staff as kind of, I want to say tech support because you don't want to run out with your TV trying to get that fixed. But they will be there to help you. They can advise you and help you find the resources too. I mean, that's why librarians are librarians. We're here to help.
Yeah, and I can do it from home.
Yep, you can do it from home, and we can help you over the phone.
Do you have any young librarians?
Yeah, there's actually quite a few. And that's one of the interesting things I really want to push is getting people to know our librarians. Because personally, I don't look like a librarian from what I've been told. I don't
What do you get other than cop?
I've got a lawyer, all kinds of different things.
I could see that.
I'm the ugly guy at the circus, all kinds of stuff.
The guy with the top hat, what's he called?
The ringleader,
ringmaster. The ringmaster.
Well, and I think one of the cool things is a lot of the younger librarians that are coming in, especially the ones that work with the teens and the adults and children's too, they come in with their own knowledge that they've just gathered. There are a lot of them that are into pop culture. So a lot of them know about anime. A lot of them have specific interests in those things. So really what I'd like to do, and hopefully we'll be doing over the next year, is really introducing the communities to our librarians. So you'll know our go-to person. If I want to know about a mystery book, this is who I'm going to talk to.
Wow. Yeah, and then specifically knowing which library to go to, which one do they ever filter? It's like you stay at your library.
You're usually set at a library,
Yeah.
but I mean, all of our staff meet the needs of the whole community. So it's also internally sharing that with the other staff so they know who to direct someone. So if you have a question, they're not in that library, say you're in Canyon Country and the expert's over in Newhall, we'll get you in touch with them. They have email addresses. We get them on the phone. So it's really providing that access. I mean, any way we can provide information, that's really what we want to do. The really way I look at libraries is it's just a big portal of information. We'll get it to you however you need it.
Wow.
So I just looked up the 7 big myths about libraries. We're actually crushing a couple of them. But
Okay.
Can I throw a couple at you?
Yeah, let's see what you got.
So the number 7 is libraries are for little kids.
Well, I mean, historically, the children's programming materials do drive a lot of the statistics we get, but it's not for little kids. It's for everybody. I think a big part of that, too, is a lot of parents will come in, and I can check out 30 books for my kids. I've got a 6- and a 4-year-old, and they'll go through them in a day. Whereas if I check out one of my books, it's 400 pages. It might take me a little while to get through.
I was at Barnes & Noble's the other day, and I pulled up, and then I was just on my phone just kind of finishing an email. And I looked up, and every once in a while, because, as you're writing an email, you're not staring at your phone the whole time. Sometimes you're looking up and you're thinking about what to say.
Yeah.
And I looked up, and every time I kept looking up, I saw parents walking in with little kids, literally like 7, 8, 12 little kids with their parents, and they're all walking out with books. And now, so I'm thinking to myself, walk into a library first before you go to Barnes & Noble's might save you, a couple $100.
I was just gonna
right?
say,
Well,
like,
definitely.
when I go in there, I'm like spending sometimes $30 on a book, and I'm like, this is insane. But I think the last book I bought at Barnes & Noble was like a book about JFK. And I spent almost $40 on that book. It was a huge book.
Yeah.
And I'm almost sure now it's probably at the library.
We probably do. And the one good thing is Barnes & Noble actually has been a really great partner for us, too. So I completely get people going in there, too. But, yeah, check us out first.
Yeah, there's a need for both. It's not an either or. It's a win-win for everyone. Some people might want to own it, but if you don't want to own it or test it out first, go see if your local library has it, test it out, or check it out for a little bit, and then if you want to own it, go buy it. I mean,
I think
different options, right?
I think certain
Definitely.
books that I get, I definitely want to own, and I want to be able to go back and look at them. But there's also a lot of books that I have that I know they're great. I know I'm never going to read them again.
Yeah.
So those types, I know, like, specifically for me, the self-help books that like I read, I want to keep reading. I want to reread. The book about JFK, I already know I'm not going to read it again. But so it
Yeah,
would have
for
been
sure.
a great one to check out and
Yeah, if you
take back.
test a book out at the library and it was
Yeah.
a great read, you're going to go buy it because those great reads are always going to be great reads because our context grows and develops year to year or month to month. It's so you can get that book because it's going to be a keeper, right?
Well, definitely. And I think one of the big things, too, is when you come into the library, you might find a gem, too, at the Friends of the Library bookstore. I found a brand new John Sanford book, probably been out a week, for $4. cover price was probably about $30.
Oh, so you sell books at the library too, or
the Friends of the Library? There are nonprofit organizations.
so
that
all those
support the
books get
library.
transferred into Friends of the Library? Is that a website?
No, it's actually physical stores in the library.
Is it really?
Yep.
I
They
didn't know that.
it's completely managed by volunteers, and it's mostly donations too. I mean, there might be a book here or there that's something that's kind of lived its lifespan at the library, but mostly we get tons of donations, and if we can't add them to the collection, they go straight over to the Friends.
That's awesome. So you can get some rare finds in there
Yeah.
too.
All libraries have
All
that?
3 libraries
Okay.
do have that. Yep.
Some keepers.
Oh, definitely.
You know, a lot of times people think they can find keepers just only at secondhand stores or thrift stores, but you can obviously go into the library and hit up their stores too. So you got that little store there.
Yep.
Here's myth number 6: libraries are for nerds.
Well, I would argue with that if you really look at what's happened in pop culture, everyone's trying to be a nerd recently. I mean, if you look at how
I'm gonna go a step further. Everyone has a nerd inside them.
They do.
That
They just
you're
don't wanna-
you're resisting, right?
they just don't want to fly that flag.
That's right.
Well, I mean, look at Comic-Con. What Comic-Con's become. That
Yeah.
was originally for nerds.
That's
and I
right.
went a couple years ago.
Everyone wants.
Everyone's in
That's
it.
right. That's right. Yeah, because everyone has a nerd inside of
Yeah.
us. In fact, in transformational work, we're taught to embrace your inner nerd, rather than trying to be something that you're not, or trying to portray yourself a certain way. Your ego wants you to pretend to be something that you're not. Just be who you are, and if part of it is nerd or fully a nerd, then embrace that, because that's the new trend now, is be who you authentically are. Just be real, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's what we're trying to get with the library staff. If you are a nerd and you're afraid of it, come in and talk to one of our staff. Chances are someone on the staff is the same kind of nerd you are.
That's right. That's right.
So you'll be amongst your people.
Yeah, I'm going to find my tribe at the library.
Exactly.
Number 5 is libraries are boring.
I think they can be exciting.
I feel like just the last 40 minutes we've been talking, we kind of can say that they're not.
But here's the cool thing about personal development, and the distinction I've been learning about boring. Yeah. Boring is because your context is boring. I can literally be at a bus stop and have more fun at an actual party, because you bring your joy and your passion and your excitement and your fun with you. I can be anywhere and be enjoying myself. So people think that, especially the millennials, it's like they think that their entertainment is somewhere else rather than being entertaining themselves. So the library is just the library. It's just a space. It's just the four walls that it's designed to welcome you in to dream. Right?
Yeah.
What else is a library? It offers you to dream, to entertain,
to get information,
to educate yourself.
Yeah.
And so library is nothing but a room full of unlimited possibilities for you to go in there and create and be creative and imagine and all that kind of stuff. So if you're boring or bored at a library, it's probably because you have a boring context. Right?
Yeah, you're not trying. I think,
you're not trying hard enough.
Well, I think an interesting story that I have about that is I had a guy who came in, and I don't know why, and this was when I was in Nevada still. He came in and started talking to me. He said, "Well, I like to learn about my family, my family history." And he was not necessarily the person I would have expected to come in and do that. In the meeting of talking to me, he told me he had just been shot and showed me a gunshot wound. But then he proceeded to he got on Ancestry.com. And then he started building his family history. And he got it all the way back to like the 1500s. And every time he found a new person, he was so excited. So for him, it wasn't boring at all. It opened up a whole new world. And that's what we can do in the library, is expose you to things that are exciting. Now, if you look at it and be like, nah, that's not Facebook, I don't care, maybe you might feel that way. However, if you actually take it and use the information or the resources you get, it can change your world.
Out of curiosity, what are the hours for? I'm sure they vary, but what's the normal?
They vary.
Hours?
So normally through the week, it varies actually between the 3 libraries. So Valencia is open from 10 to 9, Monday through Thursday. Canyon Country and Newhall are 9 to 8, Monday through Thursday. And then on Friday, it is 10 to 6 at Valencia, and now I'm getting talking about too many numbers. I'm blanking on it. And then 9 to 5 at the other 2. And then similarly on Saturday, the same hours for those. And then on Sunday, it's a shortened day, so it's 1 to 5.
Any possibility of a 24-hour?
You know, a lot of that it will depend on the city's decision if there's a capability to actually fund that.
Or a need,
Well, I was gonna
right?
say-
If all of a sudden a trend, the
Yeah.
next 6 months to a year just all of a sudden turns and people are demanding it or wanting it or yearning for it.
Well, and I think the interesting thing is, having worked in libraries for a long time, if we stayed open 24 hours, there will be people there 24 hours.
Really?
A day, yeah. I mean, sometimes you have to chase people out of the library.
And I didn't mean 24. I didn't mean 24 hours, for 7 days a week.
Yeah.
But let's say Friday, Saturday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it was 24 hours so that people, can, because if you're an entrepreneur like me, your mind is always, you're always working, you're always brainstorming, you're always being creative, and so sometimes we need a place to just go and sit down and collect our thoughts and just get information. So.
Well, and there's a lot of different models that people are looking at. There's almost, I know we talked about this a little bit earlier, like a vending machine that can be outside to pick up holds or things like
Yeah.
that, or even popular titles. So there's that opportunity. There's also a couple vendors that I've heard pitches from, and this is just completely thought for future. I don't know where it's going to go, but where they actually have made libraries and set them up through security to where they are open 24 hours. They're not staffed after hours, but if you have a library card, you can scan it and get in the building.
Almost like a membership, a gym membership.
like a gym membership.
There's actually some gyms that are 24/7, and your pass and everything is, in other words, when you come in, everything you're being watched all the time. You're being recorded, so it's kind of like the honor system. But when you're going in, you're being held accountable for your conduct while you're there, and so forth.
Yeah.
So I think in the right context, it could be a pretty powerful opportunity.
Yeah, I think it can definitely be set up. A lot of it's just going to depend on if that's what the community wants.
That's
if
right.
that's what the community wants, we'll do everything we can to get
So
there.
number 4 on the myths is libraries are about books, and that's it. And I think we kind of crushed that. I think just in the first 10 minutes about all the little hidden gems you guys
Oh,
got.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's way more than books. If you really look at computer usage and Wi-Fi access, that's skyrocketed.
So if people are just tuning in right now, what let's go over some of those things. What else do you offer?
So of course we have Wi-Fi throughout all the buildings.
Yeah.
We have a public computers. So we have computer labs.
Do you have to rent those?
The computers?
Yeah.
You just log in with your library card.
So it comes with your membership.
Comes with your membership. And if you have some issues and have some problems with it, we do have staff around so they can help out a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, we're not at the point where we can type a resume out for you, but we can kind of help you along.
But you have access to Word, Excel.
You have access to Word, Excel, the internet, a lot of different things. A lot of children's resources on the children's computers too. And then we also have printing. So if you need to come print something, we've got black and white and color printing available. And we also do have laptops that you can check out in the building. They do need to stay inside the building, but if you don't want to use a desktop,
Yeah, you can grab and go find
you can
a
just check it out.
spot in the corner or
Yeah, it's a
something.
little kiosk you can check it out from.
Okay.
And go and use it.
All right. You got ebooks.
We got ebooks. We've got databases. Anything you want to learn, we can point you in the right direction.
Study rooms. They have
Study
study
rooms.
rooms.
activity rooms, and movies.
We got movies. We also do film showings at the library too. So some of the hot titles that you can come in and watch. And we also do have some 3D printers that are available. We're hoping to expand that in the makerspace.
You gotta pay for that.
At this point, no. We
But you
foot
do
the
have to
bill.
submit what your plan is. It has to be approved.
Yep.
And then you can come in and
And
actually
then we
create
can come
it.
in. Yep. Or we can print it up for you.
So
You can
if I
pick it
wanted
up.
to 3D print his face with the headphones and the glasses and the mustache, we can create something like a little mini model or something.
We could. I mean, currently,
And when I say him, I'm talking about our producer here,
we could.
Andrew Delgado.
Currently, you'd have to kind of work it up and
Mock it up and send
in
it up.
Scratch. I was actually talking when I tested out the virtual reality system I mentioned
Yeah.
earlier. They do have like a handheld scanner that you could scan. We don't have one of those yet. I'd love to get one though.
Oh, you
so
scan
you
the
could
whole-
actually scan, your head and then print it out.
And it just pixelates all the spots that it
everything
needs to
and
cut
prints it
around
out.
and everything.
Yep.
I'm going to interrupt real quick. We have to take a quick break, but stay tuned for more of The Inspirational Parent right here on your hometown station, KHTS.
Come join me, Arif Halby, for Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour. Every Tuesday at noon, we uncover ways to help you manage your money, get out of debt, and prepare for your retirement. That's every Tuesday at noon on Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour. Are you not sure if you can retire yet? Listen to us and learn about tips for savings, retirement strategies, and so much more. That's every Tuesday at noon on Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour on your hometown station, AM 1220, KHTS.
La Esmeralda is home to truly authentic Mexican food. This family-owned restaurant prides itself on its fresh-to-order menu. Even the tortillas are made in-house. If you have a taste for sizzling fajitas, menudo, flautas, or ceviche, you have to try La Esmeralda's Mexican and seafood restaurant. Dine in or order out for the most authentic Mexican food Santa Clarita has to offer. Their Taco Tuesday? It'll turn you into a regular. La Esmeralda on Bouquet at Haskell.
It's time to put the pedal to the metal. I'm Alan Taylor, host of The Drive, your source for all things auto. Broadcasting from the Peterson Automotive Museum every Saturday morning from 6 to 9 a.m. right here on AM 1220 KHTS. Brought to you by your friends at Galpin Motors.
Hey Dodgers fans, check out the KHTS website at hometownstation.com. Get the latest news and sports happenings in our Santa Clarita Valley, find out more about KHTS shows and our on-air features, plus receive incredible discounts with our restaurant rose certificates. That's hometownstation.com.
Hometown, your hometown station.
I just like the variety of music.
KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Inspirational Parent right here on your hometown station, KHTS. Today we're talking about hidden gems of the library with our city librarian, Matt Hort. And before we went on the break, he kind of was going over all of those quote-unquote hidden gems. So if you missed any of it, find our podcast at hometownstation.com or find our Facebook live stream so you can see all of the amenities you get for free with your library membership.
And I was actually talking about some of the myths that I was going down a list. So let's hit number 3. Number 3 is that library craft activities are old-fashioned, boring, and for kids only. So is that just something that came through the 70s and 80s, that it was just...
Well, it's still going. It's still going.
The crafts.
The crafts are still going pretty well. I mean,
but on top of the crafts, you're doing speaking engagements, and you're reinventing yourselves for a broader audience.
We are. I mean, and it's kind of funny with the craft idea, because even for adults, adult coloring has taken off pretty well.
Adult coloring?
Adult coloring. It's very
lying.
It's very cathartic.
Why are you shaking your head, Andrew?
Because he does it.
No way. Where at?
At home? What do you mean we're at?
You got your coloring book you pull out when you're bored? Okay, got it.
But, I mean, it's really expanded to teens as well. We had a really successful escape room that the teens loved.
What do you mean an escape room?
So there's a whole push in a lot of in the business community, especially with team building. So you're locked in a room and you have a puzzle you have to solve. So there's been variations. There's been Harry Potter escape rooms. There's been all kinds of different
I'm
spy
so upset
escape
that
rooms.
I missed this.
Well, it's popular. I think we're going to bring it back again.
What would a Harry Potter escape room look like?
So the way it had been done is it decorated a lot like the Hogwarts castle.
Okay.
And then it has a lot of the aspects from like the sorting hats there. There's some brooms around, and keys are hidden in different things like the I'm trying to remember the name of the book that was there. Keeping magical creatures, or something like that.
Okay.
I just remember the book would try to bite everyone.
Yeah.
But so really the aspects of that, you would go in and you'd be given clues and riddles, and as a team you have to figure out how to get the key to get out of the room. So it's team building, it's leadership, and it's just fun. So that was a really big teen and kids activity. But even for adults, it's really...
Because I do team building with... some of my experiences with ropes course up in the mountains where we do high course team building, and then on the ground team building. I would be interested in that aspect because, along with working with businesses and corporations and their management and their teams, team building is a powerful experience. And if you guys got access to that, that'd be something that we could probably talk about. It's
definitely.
Cool, yeah.
We'd love to.
Are those escape rooms free?
Of course.
Oh my God.
All the programming's free at the library.
I just spent $40 to do an escape room.
Where?
Yes, in Hollywood. And it was...
Are those popular?
It is. It's really big right now. And they're great and they're fun. And, getting with your friends and yelling at each other like, no, that's not how you do it. And, it's really great. And then when you get out, you guys feel, good.
So do you think you can enroll Andrew and Shannon to go to Harry Potter?
We could get KHTS over there.
Okay, cool. So next time you have one of those, call us up. We'll get our team. We'll get some shirts, and maybe we'll challenge the Signal.
Yeah.
Or the city.
Yeah. Or the city. We'll challenge anybody, right, Andrew? We'll take all comers.
Well, and speaking of that too, this is something I've been kicking around with some of our staff, but I'd really like to get something together as far as like pub trivia, where the public can come out and challenge librarians.
That's awesome.
I think it's going to put a different aspect
or kind of like a Family Feud, but it's a game show and it's created on a certain night, and we can Facebook Live it and have it be fun and learning, right?
Because that's one of the big things. We just want to get out in the community so everyone knows us. They're like, okay, that's not just that weird nerdy librarian. They're actually a real person.
Right.
And really just to talk to the community too, see what else the community wants and what else we're not meeting the needs of.
So along with that myth about library craft activities are old-fashioned and boring, are you open to the possibility? I would love to come in and do some parent workshops where we inspire some parents to start thinking outside the box and reinventing themselves, and that's kind of stuff that excites me, and if we can partner up and offer those for free, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, I think we can definitely look at that.
Cool.
I mean, that's
Here's number 2. Number 2 is book clubs are snooze fests. So first of all, do you guys have book clubs?
We do have book clubs. We have some very dedicated
What does a book club look like?
So what a book club usually is a group of people that get together monthly.
Yeah.
And they'll all read the same book and then have a discussion
Nice. Why is that a snooze fest?
I think it's just the connotation of a book club. Everyone thinks it is the old ladies.
Until it becomes the new trend.
Yeah.
The year from now where everyone's doing book clubs.
Well, and I think one of the big things we're going to be doing is we do a One Story, One City annually. So last year we did Rise of the Rocket Girls. This year I can't release it because it's not public knowledge yet, but we picked a book that is very timely, and I think it's really going to catch the imagination of the younger millennials. So we'll be doing book clubs. We'll be doing all kinds of things surrounding that. It'll be in March. So
that's awesome.
Look out for that information.
That's cool. And the last one, number 1, I know we don't have a drum roll, but it'd be cool if our producer was set up for that. But number 1 is libraries are quiet spaces all the time, everywhere. And I think we talked about that earlier. It's not like that no more.
Not at all.
It's not like that no more.
There's kids. They're going crazy.
Okay.
In the community rooms. I mean, we don't let them.
And people feel freed up to be able to laugh. Obviously, while you're respecting other people there for certain reasons, to educate themselves or to really kind of focus. But it's a playful environment, and it's light. It's just like you would be at if you walked into Starbucks, and it's a gathering place for everybody to come together and focus on whatever it is that they're there for.
Well, and we want people to come in and be comfortable. We don't want that old mentality. If you come in, you better know exactly what you're looking for. You better get it, or you're going to get shushed or yelled at.
Yeah.
It's really a place to get information. And if we took the stance of we're going to shush you if you're talking to someone, it's going to chase you away, and you're not going to be able to get the information you want.
That's right.
So it has changed completely.
I don't know about you, but I'm getting a library card.
Me too.
After we
I should have just
here.
brought some.
I know, you should have, yeah.
I have a good y'all set up.
Thank you so much, Matt, for joining us today. That's
it was
all
an
the
honor
time.
to have you on the show. Thank you for taking the time.
for having me.
Hey, I was doing my exit.
Sorry.
Join us next week. We're here every Friday from 12 to 1 p.m. right here on your hometown station, KHTS.